Uh, Something happened. What is up, Finn fans? You have read the title correctly, and I'm just gonna pop it up. Not that one, Doug, but this one. Former Pro Bowler linebacker Shaq Barrett, who announced his retirement from the NFL in July, has applied to be reinstated to play immediately per his agent Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey. Barrett is coming out of retirement. The Dolphins currently hold Barrett's contractual rights. So Shaq Barrett is coming out of retirement. I guess, I don't know if he's just like, whatever family situation or whatever off-field situation he was dealing with back in July, or even like this was something that was going on when we signed him. If that got situated or resolved or whatever, and he's feeling like he can come back and he can play, he is making the decision to come back and unretire. And the Dolphins have his contract, because he retired. So it's kind of like the Ricky Williams situation where he retired and then he came back and the Dolphins were like, well, you still owe us and we have your contract. It's the same thing where, okay, I will not be updating that, where Shaq is going to come back to the Dolphins. And now essentially it's another situation where the Dolphins have to decide what they want to do with this information and what they want to do with Shaq Barrett. Now, the Dolphins' pass rush has kind of really taken off the past few weeks. Even against Buffalo, it kind of took off and was doing really well. So as the season's going on, it's getting better and better. Chop is doing his thing. Calais is doing his thing. Sealer's doing his thing. So now you look at a situation where it's like, in my opinion, they can use Shaq Barrett. I think adding Shaq Barrett to the opposite side of Chop and having him in that rotation with Agba, with Bowser, with Quentin Bell, I think will definitely help. Will definitely help this team. They'll have to release somebody to make room for him. And I have some news about somebody being released by the Dolphins, because yes, the Dolphins made another move. Which technically isn't a move, but the Dolphins did make a move and released somebody. But I don't see how this hurts. Okay. Now, he's not going to play against the Packers because he has to go through a whole paperwork process to be reinstated, to unretire. But it's a situation where, like I said, Mike McDaniel keeps talking over and over and over and over again that expects Bradley Chubb to play again this year. Well, if we get Bradley Chubb and Shaq Barrett back, and we have Sealer, and we have Calais Campbell, and Chop is doing his thing, and we have Agbo, all of a sudden we went from, in the beginning of the year, having a very questionable and a very iffy pass rush to now all of a sudden we'd have a pretty good pass rush going into the back end of the season and needing to win games, and then hopefully everything falls into place and we have a very good pass rush going into the playoffs. And then all of a sudden we would be going into the playoffs with a better team than we had at the beginning of the year. So, there are options that the Dolphins can do with Shaq Barrett because they own his contract. So Shaq Barrett essentially retired. The Dolphins, he does he owe money? He might owe money, but they own his contract. So they can either be like, okay, cool. You were with us, the playbook. You were with us OTA minicamp, mandatory minicamp. The playbook. You just missed training camp and obviously 3/4 of the season almost. Cool. Come back. What kind of shape are you in? Have you stayed in shape? If you're good to go, then cool. Again, come back, play, and let's go. Or they could be like, hey, we don't need you. We brought in Emmanuel Ogbah to replace you. Bradley Chubb is coming back. If he is coming back, because again, I don't know, the more it's taking, the more time it's taking, the more I'm like, he's not coming back. But I said the same thing about Isaiah Wynn, who is now active and was announced that he is going to back up Robert Jones, which I'm like, prefer him to start if you watched the film breakdown earlier today. But they could say to Shaq, we kind of don't need you. So they can waive him. You can't trade him because trade deadline passed, so they can waive him. But in my opinion, I don't think they'll waive him. I wouldn't waive him. As many pass rushers as you can get, the better. So I'd probably move on from Bowser. Bowser hasn't really done anything. So I'd probably move on from Bowser, and I would add Shaq Barrett. That would be my move. Activate Shaq Barrett, waive Bowser. And speaking of activated and waiving, the Miami Dolphins made another move. They've activated Patrick McMorris because they literally did it like down to the wire. I think tomorrow was the last day they could activate him in his 21-day window. And if they didn't, he would go to IR for the rest of the season. They activated Patrick McMorris and they waived Marcus Maye. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, they should have waived Poyer. Poyer sucks. Poyer this, Poyer that. I'm not going to disagree with you. But they moved on from Marcus Maye, and we saw Marcus Maye didn't get much snaps or much play time anyway. This is where, I kind of say I told you so when they should have signed Simmons instead of Marcus Maye, because Simmons would have definitely helped us, especially when Holland went down, especially with Poyer playing a little doo-doo butter. Having Simmons back there would have definitely helped us, but they didn't. And obviously, like I always say, they know more than me. But Patrick McMorris is coming back, fresh legs, young, yes, late round draft pick, but they apparently like him, and he's going to replace Marcus Maye, and he'll be in that rotation in the backfield with Campbell, with Poyer and Holland, and we'll see what we can get out of him as well. So, knock on wood, this team is getting fresh down the stretch when they need to. And one other thing I want to talk about before we get out of here, the Calais Campbell, if you guys didn't see on the sideline, Calais Campbell was coaching up Chop Robinson. And Chop was saying it feels amazing kind of how he's getting on a roll. He says just take everything from the film room to practice, from practice into the field. He says it's showing now. It's showing him learning from Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, me putting extra work in with the coaches, everything. Just takes from the guys who knows the game so much and just executing it. Over the past 4 weeks, Chop Robinson leads the NFL in pressure rate. He has a higher pressure rate over the past 4 weeks than Jeffrey Simmons. He has a higher pressure rate than Myles Garrett, than Danielle Hunter, than Jared Verse, than DeForest Buckner, Chris Jones. He is really starting to come into his all and really starting to understand his craft. And it is showing. Again, go back, watch the film breakdown from earlier today if you did not check that out. And you'll see. I showed he's getting double teamed and he's blasting through double teams. He is really, really starting to get comfortable in his position. So it's very exciting to see. But yeah, Miami Dolphins, Shaq Barrett's unretiring, and they add Patrick McMorris and waive Marcus Maye. A lot of things happening at a good point in the season where we need these positive things to happen. So hopefully we get the flip of the past 2 years and we kind of get hot at the end of the year. We'll see. I'm going to knock on the wood again. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. You're going to get 2 videos tomorrow. So I'm working on it. I'm working on something special. But like usual, stay classy. And fins up.